Hi there, Sonia Boko here, helping to put a positive twist in your life. Today's balloon twister tutorial is going to be on how to make this beautiful fairy, or even this beautiful fairy. And it's this one here that we focus in on this video. However, I do talk a little bit about how you can achieve the hairstyle that you see on this beautiful fairy. I really love the blowing in the wind vibe and feeling that this one gives me. So it makes a really beautiful centerpiece. If you're a party mum or dad and you're watching this video looking for inspiration for your child's fairy party, look no further, and maybe you can share this video with your favorite local balloon artist if you would like to see if maybe they'd be interested to create something similar for you. Let's get into the video, just how to make this gorgeous balloon fairy. So let's get into it. Now this balloon uses a lot of balloons in the hairstyle. As you can see, this breezy look from our flying fairy here does take a little bit of work to get just right. So that's going to be your challenge as we get into this video. And my best friend in the balloon world, okay, I might have offended some of my actual real friends. My best friend in the balloon inflation world is this pump here, my Legenda, and it's going to really help me create beautiful balloon hair. I'm going to start off with making the woven flower skirt, but I'm just going to do this next bit real quick because if you don't know how to do that technique, you are going to be able to check it out with my linked videos. Now I remember back in the day when I first learned how to do that woven flower base, the struggle was real. So if it's a bit of a challenge for you, persevere, because I know you can get it, and if you persevere, it's going to take you so far into making beautiful fairies and dolls, and just over the years it's been a real staple design in creating these beautiful classic balloon pieces. Okay, next we are going to do the bodice. My bubble I'm starting with is about 3 inches long. Each twist, another bubble 3 to 4 fingers long. Making one more bubble. The same size as that original one that we've done there. And now we can go ahead to remove the excess. So if you're less familiar with balloons and their balloon sizes, well, let me know below and I can do a little video on that. But what we've got here is the 260s that I've used in the skirt and the 350 that I have for the bodice. And we're going to bring these beautiful spring lilac balloons together. That pretty firm. Wrap that in place there and just over this way. Oh, beautiful ball gown that Cinderella herself would be a little bit jealous of. You can do a little bit of adjusting for it. Just trying to make sure that that bodice sits nice and neatly in the center there. Let's go ahead to grab a 6-inch quick link. I've got it here in the blush, and we're going to make the head. Now I'm going to take this nozzle, put it through the center here, and then it's going to join in underneath here in the center of the woven flower. may need to play around with the placement of the balloons if they become a bit dislodged during that process, but that's okay. Neaten it up now as you go, or neaten it up later and keep on going. This next part is going to use a few mocha 1-inch balloons. I say a few, I've got 6 here. Let's see if that's enough to do the trick for this beautiful hairstyle. So I'm going to inflate approximately 8 centimeters uninflated. We're going to start off with the pinch twist at the top. Find the point that's about 2/3 down the head bubble, and then I twist it off the bubble, and then I do the smaller bubble which gets twisted. Find a little bit to go in, twist it. So now we're going to bring this balloon up nice and snugly against the side of the balloon. Bubble, and doing it again down the opposite side, keeping this one in the middle. Now we are going to do very similar to what we've done here, but in the opposite direction. But I'm going to take it a little bit closer than 2/3. Small bubble up here. In the end, it's about 1 inch or so in length. Our final bit here, and finally this bubble is going to be about the same length as this one here. I'm going to remove excess now. I'm tying this one off because I don't want what I've done there to come undone. Let's start to build up now the beautiful buns. We have laid the foundation here for where they are going to sit by these pinch twists here, and we are going to inflate another 160. I've left about 4 fingers uninflated there, similar to last time. And here we're just doing some small bubbles to cover up and conceal that pinch twist bubble underneath. Find that it adds a bit of visual interest by having them at different sizes, so not equal. But now I'm going to do some more work, look to cover up the pinch twist underneath. To help determine this point, I'm just going to hold the balloon bubble against itself, see where that roughly meets that point at the top. But now I am again going to make a smaller bubble. So far, looking pretty cute. Now we're going to bring this to the back of the hair, where our pinch twist is. And bring it around so I can now work on this side. We're aiming to make those look as identical as possible, but let's face it, it is on the back of the balloon hair, so you're not going to see it as much. I'm going to repeat what we've done here on this side. Now you might find that by grasping the hair bun firmly and pulling it away, as you twist in place, is going to be able to help you to get that in there nice and tight and together. we want to try and keep it nice and close together and not too loose, or you'll find that the hair buns really don't want to stay in place. So this is what we're looking at so far. For the next part of the hair, I'm going to focus in on these twisty bits that we have. I feel that this is a part of the design that you could substitute for something easier. For instance, if you just simply inflated a 260 by itself, that could look nice and take you far less time. Just want to try and help get a bit of extra length into this already very long balloon. Just by firmly grasping it and pulling it along from end to end can help stretch it out just a bit. Find my midpoint and introduce it into my pinch. To do the spiral, I want to get a fairly nice and tight spiral happening. And we're wanting to be able to bring it up into the pinch twist at the top. We're swooping it under these hair bubbles that are already there, and finding the point where it wants to meet the pinch twist at the top. I'm going to twist that off. And then use this twisted area to get it into the pinch twist. We're trying to maximize the amount of length that we can get from the spiral. So you might want to use a bit of force to get it in there. Push down on your doll. Get around that pinch twist. And if you get to there, whew, we made it halfway. But now we need to go down the other side. It's important that you're paying attention to the direction you are spiraling your balloons, because now we're going to switch it up and go the opposite way. So you'll find whatever comes naturally to you, which for me is like this, simply do the opposite. So the next part is a tricky bit because we don't want this to come separated from our pinch twist. Make sure it's in there nice and good. And you can see that by paying attention to the direction of our spiral and switching it up, now it's got a beautiful symmetry happening and not just continue on in the same pattern, same curl pattern. So now we need to get things into this pinch twist at the back. So holding on to my spiraled hair here, I'm figuring out the point where it meets. I'm going to start twisting off my balloons. When I was doing the hairstyle in this one, I had the good fortune of having just enough in the length that I needed, that I just twisted off and locked in place the last two little bits of bubble, and it was perfect, and I just had a trio of bubbles here at the end. This time I'm not as fortunate, but that's okay. We create our own fortune, and that we can make it work. I'm going to select one of these bubbles. Help me twist into that pinch twist first. And then I can go ahead to do the same thing with the other. I'm going to remove that excess. We've got this last little bit of a nubbin. Maybe it's her hair falling out. It's a bit too short to go into this hairstyle. But I'm just going to tuck it in another one. So you can't really see it at the back. And it's not making much of an impact on the front. So with the sweeping hair, you can now position it so that sits just so. And we're going to go in with our next balloon. So what have we used so far? We have used 1 for the base structure, 2 to build up those buns, 3 to get in those beautiful hair spirals. Let's get on to number 4, build more volume. But honestly, you don't need to do this step, but simply because it's in this one, I'm going to add it. So you can skip this step if you feel like this is enough. Which, let's face it, it probably is, but I like making hair extra special. I've inflated my balloon. I'm going to introduce it to the hairstyle back here in this cluster. This one is going to sweep underneath here and to the pinch twist at the front. Just bring it around so it can come into the center point and meet up with our pinch twist. Run it around the pinch twist. Folding it down and under our hair spiral. And bring it to the back. We're going to twist off where I think it needs to meet, and then go ahead to get it in there. Wowee, there's a lot going on and I love it. And trust me, whoever you're making this for, they're going to love it too. Because lots of volume, lots of hair, it's a beautiful thing. For our last bit of hair, we need to do those beautiful hair spirals, and it's also going to allow us to build those buns even higher to the sky. If you know what I'm saying, I think you do. I'm going to inflate the balloon fully first. Let it all out. Now comes the fun part. I am twisting this around my finger, making sure to just clamp it in place with my thumb as I get it going. So most of this I am going to wrap about half of the balloon onto my finger, and I'm going to inflate. And as I inflate, I want to try and keep this still on my finger in terms of as I go to use my legenda to inflate, it's going to try to encourage the balloon to lift off my finger. I want it to stay on here for as long as possible, and so I can then, when we get to this point of the inflation, that it can start to actually curl, and then as it's lifting away, I need to make sure I'm starting to hold down on this end so it doesn't come away too soon. Sounds a bit tricky and technical, but it's not if you give it a bit of a practice. So, see how I go doing this off the ground. Don't like it. Ooh, okay. And you can go slowly. There's no rule that says that the fastest person wins here. So I think that's really cute. It's beautiful and I love it, but it definitely is shorter and the spiral is a bit more tighter than what it was on the original one, so I'm going to help relax it a bit. When connecting in this piece of hair, I'm going to start with the pinch. I'm going to pick a bun and wrap it around it. I'm going to now take the length of spiral and wrap it one final time around the top of my hair bun. Again, encouraging it to be in there nice and tight and not loose. Here I'm pushing it, pushing it. We lost our back here pinch twist. That's okay. I'm going to persevere, and if I need to, I will fix it. I am going to push in I'm pushing in here with my finger as I pull and lift away to just really help encourage that to get in there nice and close. Go ahead to do a bit of a study of which side of the hair bun or dango you like best. I like this side best. And it just really shows off the dimension that we've achieved in there. And then coax and encourage this hair curl to sit in a position you find visually pleasing. That's where having this pinch twist here can really help, because we can play with its positioning and placement to really get the most out of positioning this curl where it looks best. I think that's pretty cute. Oh, what's this one? Okay, so while I think that looks super cute, it's not quite the same as the length we've achieved on these ones, and that's okay. To try and make it a bit longer, a bit more like the original piece, we are going to wrap less onto our finger. So by wrapping and leaving a more generous length on it, you should be able to achieve a longer length of hair pony. Look at that. I think the trickiest part of trying to do that technique where you are spiraling only half of the balloon is to not release it from your finger a bit too early. So in the other one, I really had to consider how much had been inflated, how much was still left to go, and how much my thumb was still holding on to part of that balloon. So I just had to sort of move my thumb back a little bit to allow the next part of the latex twist to inflate while still not letting go of that last little bit, because if you do let go of that tail end a bit too soon, it's going to create a more flattened out length at the end. Super cute. Don't mind me, I'm just playing with the curls. So here you can really see the difference it has made. You might see there just stretch this curl out a bit by doing this. So it's helped to give us a bit more length. And looks a little bit more like the one we've done on this side. So what you can see in my fairy centerpiece design behind me is I've really tried to play with the idea that there is a breeze that is blowing and this beautiful fairy is hanging onto this flower. But if you were trying to do a fairy where obviously it's similar to the centerpiece design behind me, you want to position those hair ponytails to go in that kind of direction. If you want to really tame that hair, you can feed it underneath our hair bubbles that we've created here. So you could add these hair swoops after so that it's less of a struggle, but otherwise I'm just bringing that balloon and holding it in place and feeding it underneath. And gosh, it's looking so cute. So while this did not come out exactly like what I created originally with that, what I think the beautiful payoff is when you are working with balloons is they don't need to be identical to still be beautiful. They don't need to look the same to be appreciated in the same way. And here, our beautiful princess with her very twisty hair. I can see her being a very beautiful Sailor Moon Serenity, where this fun variation is more like a fairy that is flying through the breeze. But seriously, I'm loving that so much. Oh, beautiful balloon serendipity. Lean into it because that is where you'll find the magic happens. A 160 is now going to be used to create her legs and her arms. I've inflated that a considerable amount because I want to use a decent bit of length. A forearm is a great length to measure. Just creating ankles for her. Going to go in here. Perseverance with balloons is a huge thing. Make sure your legs are going in the center. I also like to find that normal end and wrap that in separately and independently of where I'm wrapping the other part of the leg. I'm going to remove the excess and I'm going to use this part here to make the arm. I am tying up this one. I'm softening this one a bit because it just gives you more friendly balloon to work with, I guess. So I like the kind of knock-kneed effect that's going on there. And when you are making a fairy, and what I've done on this one is given a gentle bend in for knees. Just do that. If you're looking to create a fairy that has more straight legs, don't do that. And finally, just make sure to position them in a way that makes sense under there. Making sense means you can see them both from the front and it's not doing some weird kind of thing from the side. Now to do those arms. Let's say that's about 10 centimeters or 4 inches approximately in length, maybe a bit less. And I'm going to make a bubble the same size. Now I'm just going to twist it into over here. Something I'd like you to consider. The original inspiration behind this fairy was her holding onto a flower. So if you've constructed a beautiful flower for her to hold on to, you can now put it in between her arms to make sure that you're doing the arms the right length for her to cuddle that balloon to her body. Otherwise, just twist that arm in. And go ahead to remove your excess, tie off and secure. I'm going to go ahead to use a beautiful shiny look balloon. Here my balloon of choice is Qualitex Chrome in mauve, but metallics also have a beautiful line of reflex, which is gorgeous. But I'm wanting to leave about an inch of uninflated balloon at each end before tying off. Find the midpoint. So I'm just going to give it a bend off center. So this is going to now attach into her at the bodice. This is going to go on one side of the pinch twist and this is going to go to the other, and it should hopefully have the end result of this sitting nicely in the middle of her back. Don't secure this in too close to that pinch twist, because remembering we are wanting to try and balance it at a point in the middle. Taking that opposite side and now securing it into the pinch twist at the opposite side. Sorry, without my glasses on. So our end result is to have it sitting in the middle of the back, and because that really dislodged things a little bit out of place, I'm going to now just go ahead to play around with making sure the head's back in the center, the bodice is on the top of the skirt, and all those little bits and pieces that really make the design.
One eternity later.
So it has taken me a little bit of prodding and poking here to make it sit just so, but when we have the luxury of doing things in advance, beautiful designs for beautiful people or beautiful events, then we can really play around with and get things sitting exactly where they need to in order to look beautiful. Now, I don't know about you, but I really love how she's turned out. And I ended up fashioning a new pinch twist out of that additional little bit of balloon that we had, and then I tucked that part out of the way again, so I feel a lot better about it being a bit neater looking there. I have done battle with those wings to make them look as good as I think that they can on the design. So if you are going to attempt something Sailor Moon-esque, which of course I'd love to see, make sure you check out my Facebook group and share it over there if you do, then it would not be necessary. And you can now go ahead to draw on a face, and if you would like some inspiration for a face, you can always go to Google Images, but I do have some videos which might inspire you where I draw features on the faces, and you can easily put one of those onto this cute little fairy to just finish her off. But for this balloon, I've got an idea for just how to make it special for those of you who aren't that confident in drawing those faces. My friend Liza over at Butterboom Stickers has created a beautiful range of vinyl stickers to help enhance your balloon designs. And here's the design that she's created based on a face that I made, and I adore it. So that can give you a general idea by holding it on here like that, the positioning that you're going to need for this. But they are so easy to use. I don't often use vinyl stickers because, yeah, I can make it. But having said that, sometimes even I don't like to do my own faces. I do also get that fear of messing it up and getting it wrong. But I am going to just peel these off. Liza, if you're watching, comment below, let people know where they can actually watch a good tutorial on this. I really love how there's notches on these bigger pieces to help get it nice and flat against the surface of the balloon. Brilliant. Isn't that just gorgeous? You can even go ahead to add a bit of blush on or something with a bit of Sharpie art, which is simple and easy to achieve. So I really hope you enjoyed watching this balloon video and coming on this journey to make this beautiful balloon. And if you're new here and you like what you see, make sure to subscribe, and I'm going to help you to stay twisted and come up with more beautiful designs just for you. Really helps my videos to be seen if you like and comment, but also don't forget to share it with someone who you think would love to learn how to do this beautiful balloon design. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So as watchers, what, it is a sewing room now. Go ahead to do a bit. go ahead to do a green.